Ida for refusing to let my parents move in and reminding them that they backed the wrong horse. My 37 meters family comes from and is a long line of doctors. Being a doctor is the only acceptable profession in their eyes, and anything aside from that is met with literal abandonment. Which is what happened to me when I turned 17 and told my family I was not going to be a doctor but to build an acting career, social media career. YouTube wasn't huge then, and supplement my income with small business endeavors. When I told my family this, they kicked me out and we subsequently lost contact for 17 years. During time they moved to the UK and my sister became a doctor and my older brother got into a very competitive stream for surgery, neurosurgery, specializing in spinal tumor diagnosis and removal, which he has now finished. We reconnected when COVID hit and they told me they were moving back to Sydney for lifestyle reasons and because my brother has found a $750,000 a year job. During the last 2 years they never asked me how my acting career, social media stuff went, and basically assumed I was just slumming in at Sydney. To their credit they were correct in that I didn't make it big in acting. Maybe the world wasn't ready for a mainstream leading role Indian. Or make it at all. I did however make it big as an investment banker and recently made partner at the bank I work. This came to head on Friday when I met them for house shopping. I walked to meet them, and when they asked about my car, I just said I preferred to walk, and they realized the areas they wanted to live, despite being highly paid medical professionals, simply wasn't going to be happening, as the houses cost north of $20 million. When we decided to call it a day and regroup, they suggested going to my place before going out to dinner. When we arrived at my house they thought I was renting a room and inquired how much rent was. I informed them that I wasn't renting and that this was my house. They lost their shit, accusing me of lying to them for years and only meeting up to rub their face in my probably illegally gained wealth, and capped it off by informing me that they'll be living with me now instead of with my oldest brother, since they can't be seen living in a worse house than their son. I laughed at them and reminded them that they bet on my brother and sister, not me, and that they have a better chance of living with my neighbors than me. At that point they threatened to cut me out of their will, to which I reminded them of the fact that they can't even afford to buy at my area, so their will and assets don't really matter to me. Now they aren't talking to me, and my brother and sister are saying I should have been proactive in letting them know of my success. I have a public LinkedIn profile, so they literally never Googled me. Edit. Getting a lot of hate about including the term social media influencer in my post. To clarify, this was 19 years ago, and I believe social media influencer is probably the updated term for socialite. I wanted to be famous, but I had no real skills or plan as to how I was going to achieve that goal, like most social media people. Edit 2. A lot of people are critical that my family just kicked me out or that it's unlikely a parent would do this. Obviously I wasn't a great child in their eyes in general, and this was the final straw, so to speak. Also Desi parents are a different level of parents. From washing your father's feet, to not speaking unless spoken to, not allowed to talk to opposite sex, and viewing the head of house as an almost god figure. It's a bit different. Desi parents are also incredibly strict. Not like your room needs to be clean strict, but like clean the entire house. Wash the cars. Wash iron everyone's clothes or you are getting beaten with a broom. For the people talking about house prices. Yeah, Sydney is whack. House prices jump around a bit too, of course. But generally speaking, if you live in a house on the harbor, it wasn't cheap. Our former PM lived in a $70 million to $90 house at Point Piper.